Joining me tonight is Bret Blakely. He is a co-founder and a VP of OnCore Golf, which is a different kind of golf ball. And Bret, welcome to Talking Golf with Gary.
Thanks so much, Gary. Nice to be on.
So, Bret, tell us, how did you get started in the game of golf?
Um, to be honest, I was kind of one of the type of people that didn't grow up golfing, and part of it was because I played every other sport, and a lot of my friends were really good. And me being as competitive as I was, the last thing I wanted to do was not be the best one at golf. So it wasn't until later in life that I actually started picking up the sport. I played hockey and basketball and soccer and everything you could imagine growing up, and then picked it up a little bit later on. But when I moved to New York City to go after trying to do some international marketing and just kind of pursue my marketing and advertising interests, I met who is the co-founder, Steve Colton, who was on the NYU golf team and from Long Island. So, of course, he and I hit it off for a multitude of reasons, beer being one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, good time to be in your mid-20s in New York City.
That's right.
So we just struck a friendship, and of course I found out about his passion for golf, and there was an inventor that had worked for my father and had a million inventions, one of them being a golf ball with a hollow metal core. So that was obviously something that really piqued Steve's interest, being in the golf world, and said, I've never heard of anything like that. And I'm like, yeah, that's because there isn't anything like it. But again, this was just more of an invention. And then, you fast forward several years later, and we decide to make a go at creating a company and a brand to commercialize that technology. And now 7 years after that, we've got a full suite of golf balls. And actually, both our Avant 55 and the Elixir, our tour ball, we just got news today, won our tour ball won the gold for Golf Digest Hot List, and our Avant 55 won the silver. So pretty awesome.
That's very good. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
And that's a highly ranked publication, and of course that's a great honor for you guys. So that's good. You're moving forward quickly.
Oh yeah.
You are in Buffalo, New York, which is not exactly the the center of the golf world, if you were.
Right.
Uh, Take us a little bit about how you got back to Buffalo. You were
Sure.
born and raised there, and the whole manufacturing process. Where does that take place? Is it in Buffalo, or just take us through the whole thing?
Sure. So when Steve and I decided to, potentially start a company to commercialize that technology, we essentially spent 6 months going to the Small Business Association, learning what bylaws were, what kind of what kind of corporation we want to do this under, how we, building a very basic website at that. We didn't have much web design capabilities, coming up with a name, building a business and kind of a strategy of how we wanted to market and commercialize this really disruptive and interesting technology of the hollow metal core. So after that, we pitched the engineer and said, hey, we'd love to try and commercialize your product. Here's kind of our vision for it. And part of that vision was to be as differentiated from a branding standpoint and a company standpoint and a story standpoint
Mm-hmm.
as a hollow metal core was to the technological standpoint. So, we certainly could have decided to go down to Florida or go to Carlsbad, where all the other companies are located.
Right.
But we felt being on the East Coast was part of the story and was something that did differentiate us. Buffalo's always been known as kind of an underdog city, and we felt like this is an industry that is dominated by these 800-pound gorillas. So what we were going to be was that underdog golf ball company. We had the most accurate ball in the world. That hollow metal core was 20 to 30% tighter shot dispersion. But at the time, we were the only ones, or that was the only ball that we had to offer. So part of our underdog story was, of course, trying to get something that innovative and disruptive, USGA conforming. So we submitted it, got rejected, actually got rejected twice. And it wasn't because we didn't meet the quantifiable metrics. It was because they had added a subjective rule about it being customary and traditional form and make. Long story short, we fought that. Took us a couple years. Got the decision overturned by the Executive Standards Committee and became the second company in 100 years to get the USGA to rewrite the rules and allow new technology in. And, obviously we came back to Buffalo. It was more affordable for us to set up shop. I had always had plans on moving back. And I also knew that Buffalo is the kind of city that really rallies behind, not only sports teams, but things that shed a positive light, because we all who live here love it and know what a great place it is and how amazing the people are. But, if you just listen to the news, you're like, oh, they get pounded with snow every day. Yeah. Not true. They get this and that, whatever. So we felt like Buffalo would be a perfect place for us to create this underdog, company, but lead it with real innovation and technology. So we came back, and obviously that tackling of the USGA conformance, that historic achievement that we made, allowed us to bring on board two of the best engineers golf's ever known. So manufacturing is actually done overseas. We initially started off with a stateside manufacturer. Unfortunately, they were the only ones available. They had focused on refurbished golf balls, and we lost a lot of money wasting time with them,
right.
Which was unfortunate. They stole money from us. There was just a lot of things that happened. So we ended up going to the second largest manufacturer, where we could trust in the development and the quality control, and their ability to produce as many as we could sell. So it's been a really nice partnership. Everything else, we do stateside, and we try and keep as much of that even local, whether it's apparel, print materials, as much as we can, we try and keep right here in Buffalo, New York.
Now, when you were developing the ball, how was it as far as testing it out to see how, the different things? Did you do that in Buffalo? Did you go down south to try it? Because it's such a limited time.
Yeah, we do all our testing out at Golf Labs, which is the gold standard in the industry. So that's the same place that all the companies, Titleist, everything, do their testing. They use an iron biron. Mm-hmm. So that is where the best of the best go. And we wanted to make sure, obviously, as a new company, if we are stating something, it's got to be fact. So we needed to make sure that the ball was going to do what it said. Each of the balls was going to do what it said. Our goal has been to, create these innovative, patented, protected, proprietary technology type of golf balls, but also make sure that they are the best in class for the demographic we were creating them for. So we have a ball for a beginner, we have a ball for the intermediate, we have a tour ball. And we've achieved that. Like I said, the Elixir is right now will outperform any tour ball on the market. Our testing data showed that, and our player feedback showed that, and the kind of traction it's created, just from word of mouth alone, it's been really phenomenal to see. But the testing was always crucial, so we do as much of that as possible.
And I know it's a slightly different type of ball, as you've been saying. The metal core is. Can you explain that a little bit to us?
Well, so that's actually that we have three balls. So the one I'm referring to now, the tour ball, does not have a hollow metal core. The hollow metal core is just the first ball that we built the company around.
Uh-huh.
Since then, we've moved on and created two other perimeter-weighted golf balls, but without a hollow metal core.
Okay.
Our Avant 55 has almost an oversized interior core, so some of the weight shifts more to the outside. That's a two-piece ball, price point, 55 compression, really good for everything from slow to upper mid swing speed. So that's that intermediate golfer that's going to want a really soft feel and a ton of distance. The Elixir, our tour ball, what we did in there is we actually, to create the perimeter weighting and to create so it's probably the highest we think, as far as we know, because we were given a letter by the USGA. It said it was 0.02% from being illegal on the allowable velocity. So it's a urethane cover, but what we did was we essentially blew up that metal core and put these high density particles in the mantle, in the perimeter of the mantle. Okay. So what it does is it does not stiffen on the iron shots, the chip shots, but the harder you hit it, like off the tee, it's going to create that rebound effect that creates such a hot velocity off the tee. So you're getting that Pro V1X type of feel and explosion off the tee, but you're getting that soft Pro V1 type feel around the green. And then obviously the urethane is going to be what helps with spin rates. So we've optimized the urethane. We're calling it Durethane. It's a little bit thicker than our previous version, a little bit whiter than the last version of the Elixir. But yeah, it's been just kind of a whirlwind. Especially people will notice how it performs in the wind. You know, when you hit a ball into crosswinds or wind coming at you, at the tail end of that trajectory, you usually see a ball flutter. The way this thing kind of barrels through it, it's something that we did not even expect because our testing wasn't, hey, let's test it in the wind.
Yeah.
You know, we were doing dispersion testing and distance testing and spin rates.
Right.
And then when we started having, you know, guys on the web or our mini tour players or, you know, just former greats like Al Geiber who test this thing, they all said, I cannot get over how well this thing plays in the wind. It keeps its line. It doesn't flutter at the tail end. It keeps on going. So it's really cool.
And you're also now, as I understand it, you're working on another ball it sounds absolutely fascinating to me.
Yeah.
The Genius ball, and I don't want to ruin it. Why don't you explain a little bit about that?
Sure. Picture every bit of data that you would get in a launch monitor, but instead of having the experience of going and hitting it into a screen that's 10 feet in front of you, what if that entire launch monitor, that entire computer was inside the golf ball and you could take that out on a course and play 18 holes and in real time have every bit of data shot up to your smartphone, you know, via Bluetooth, give you GPS, give you how far you hit it, give you the trajectory, show you the arch of the shot on your phone, you know, how far you are from the pin, the spin rates, everything that you can think of that a launch monitor would do, this ball will be able to do. So it's for the golfer that wants real-time analytics. We definitely think this is going to be used especially for training, both by people that are just interested in having something really high-tech or people that just don't want to lose a golf ball, or even by the way pros are teaching. You know, maybe they are working with their clients through a variety of, you know, kind of just parts of their golf game that they want them to work on. And then after their lesson, they say, all right, I want you to take, you know, the Genius ball out, try and get 2 rounds in before our next lesson. And all that data is accessible to the teaching pro. They can see if they've improved on, you know, getting more spin and bite on their shots. They can see how they're, if they told them they needed more loft on their drive, you know, if they're able to achieve that. So it'll be really fascinating to see where the biggest usage of this technology will be, but I think it'll be amongst all of those areas and channels. So we've been working on it for quite some time. We're probably about 60 days out from a working prototype. But the initial patent that we had on a protective core, a hollow protective core, is what we're going to be protecting that computer chip on the inside of the ball by. And that's going to allow it to withstand the 15,000 pounds of G-force that is put on a golf ball when a driver hits it.
Yeah, I would think that would be that would be my concern, is that, you know, it would survive a round of golf, you know, especially the way I hit the ball.
Right. Right. Well, the cover is going to wear down before the battery actually would.
Okay.
And the chip itself will remain protected. We've done, you know, durability testing. shot it out of a cannon against a metal plate to make sure that the electronics inside would be protected, and they are. And that was putting more pressure than a driver ever would. So it's going to be motion. There's a magnetometer, an accelerometer that are on the inside of this thing. So it won't lose its power when it's at rest. So, I mean, again, the cover of the golf ball will, you would send it in, it'll get rescanned and sent back out.
It's just, I don't know. This is like, it's so incredible. And I think it's such a great idea because, I'm a high handicapper and I'm getting back into the game. I didn't play for a couple of years for various reasons. I don't know what the distance is anymore on how long I hit it. I'm older, so
yeah.
And I think something like this would be so beneficial to me, just to know how far I'm hitting the ball, and we can't. I can't afford at this point to get a TrackMan or a Shot Scope or whatever,
right?
Something now. Will this be reasonably affordable?
Yeah, the whole idea is to make the ball. Don't get me wrong; it'll be more expensive than a typical ball. We're
right.
guessing it's probably going to be around $20-$25 for a 2 or 3 ball sleeve.
Okay.
But if you think about it, I mean that's extremely affordable for what you're getting, and the idea will be, for there to be some sort of recyclable program where, again, they're not having to purchase over and over again when the cover wears out. They turn it in and then they get it back. And what we might do is to be able to keep the actual hard costs of the balls themselves down is just have some sort of subscription for the data that they're getting. If they just want GPS, maybe it's only 99 cents, or maybe that's even free, but maybe it's 99 cents a month. If they want the full suite, maybe it's a $2.99, which is still very affordable, but that allows us to kind of subsidize those costs.
So when you talk about the GPS, would that be connected as well to the ball itself, or just to the app that it would be reporting back to? Or
it'll be inside the ball, but via Bluetooth, it'll send that data to the phone.
So the courses would be on the app, and then the ball would send the data.
You wouldn't need it to be. You wouldn't need course information, because it's essentially just tracking where the ball went.
Okay.
So you're just gonna basically look on your phone and see, if you hit it in the woods or something. You got some heather grass, or where it's really hard to find. This will just kind of pinpoint exactly where it is.
Oh, no more lost balls.
Yeah, I wouldn't hit it over water though if you're worried about hitting it in.
Yeah,
you might know where it is, but you might not be able to get it.
You mean it doesn't float? Come on.
No, maybe that's version 2, possibly.
Back to the drawing board.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it sounds like it's really an interesting concept, and I don't know why anybody hasn't thought of this before with all the technology and with all the emphasis on GPSs. I mean, I've got one right here. I've got the little Garmin deal that I use.
There have been 1 or 2 smart balls, but they were either only for putting or only for chipping and putting.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, they didn't do too well because they weren't very accurate. And the worst part, obviously, I think, was the fact that I think they were close to like $200 for one ball.
Oh.
And B, you couldn't drive with it. So you couldn't take it on the course because they had no way to protect the electronics. So.
Mm-hmm. And golf's such an expensive game that to have something that's a little less and yet viable as what you're talking with this, and your other products are more affordable, so it just makes it a lot easier. Oh. Hello?
You there?
Still there? Yeah.
Can you see me?
I lost your picture.
Hold on one sec.
Okay.
There we
There
go.
you go. Okay, so on your site also, I took your ball fitting, and I
Yep.
know that's a big thing now. Bridgestone is back to do it. I guess all the big company, Callaway, Titleist, they all have the thing. And but how does that? I mean, it gave me a ball, and probably I would avoid. I would agree with it. It said I should try the Avant 55 because I do have a slow swing speed. How did that come about, and who how did you decide to put that on your website as well?
Once we developed the full suite, we wanted to make sure that customers were being pointed in the right direction, so that their first experience was a good one.
Mm-hmm.
And they were getting something that was right for them. I mean, some of them will come back and try both regardless, even if they like the one that they try. But others are going to say, oh, that wasn't, meant for me, especially if it's like a really elite player.
Right.
And they do need the elixir. Well, if they tried the Avant 55, they might say, hey, it's a great ball, but not compared to what I play.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have a urethane cover. It's two-piece. The elixir is the tour ball. That's for the really high swing speed. I mean,
Right.
It's for the really good golfers. So we just, we saw what Bridgestone had done, and we felt like this is something that now we can get on our website and try and help guide the customer who may know nothing about OnCore. Obviously, we are not just repurposing old, outdated technology and calling it a new golf ball, which there are plenty of companies that do. I mean, 90% of the quote unquote innovation is just marketing. They're not actually innovating. It's, something that, patent went out 20 years ago. We're going to just repurpose it. So the fact that we're actually putting all this time and money into R&D and creating innovative products, I want to make sure that the benefits of that technology and research and everything are going to enhance the experience for the golfer that's, potentially going to give us a shot by purchasing one of our products. So,
yeah, it seems in this, I think they call it the guerrilla golf ball market now. I don't like that term per se,
yeah.
but yours is one of the most innovative of all of the companies so far that I've seen. And I think that's something that's a step up for you guys, and a plus in your column compared to the other balls that as you say, they're essentially lower price balls, but the technology isn't there.
Right, and even with even with our technology and innovation, I mean, for one, we have made them very affordable. The Avant 55 is $24 a dozen. The Elixir is $35 a dozen.
Mm-hmm.
And if you sign up for the loyalty program, you're getting 5% off at day one, and you never lose it. And then as you grow with us as a customer, you get 10% off, then you get 15, then 20, then 25. So it's more time and more you spend with us, the more you're going to benefit. It's not a point system loyalty program where, maybe you earn 50 points to use against the purchase, but then the minute they're gone, you're back to zero. You start at 5% right off from the bat and only get higher and higher. So we definitely have affordable products. We do volume pricing too. So if you buy 3 or, 4 or 5 or 6, you're getting lower cost per dozen when you do that as well.
And where can the folks find the OnCore Golf other than at OnCoreGolf.com? Where else can we find it? Are they available in the big box stores or?
So we've actually stayed out of big box intentionally. We did do a trial with Dick's and went very well. We did 24 stores around the country. But one of the things that we learned in our position especially is the amount of money it costs to go in to big boxes and to have sales reps and everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not an area that we want to be. We'd rather spend our money on the R&D. We'd rather, not be making almost nothing because we're selling at super discounted wholesale to, the green grass or big box, but more focused on direct to consumer. That being said, there are hundreds of pro shops around the country from over the years that still purchase OnCore golf balls. We are going to be building a landing page on the site so that pro shops can order, but without us having to, arm ourselves with 34 or 40 national reps and so forth. And it's big box, we may revisit that down the road, but again, that's gonna, I think, cause the products that we're developing currently and in the future to suffer, because we'll be spending more money on driving people into big box than on creating top of the line products. So I would, to be certain, it's OnCore golf.com. And that's also where you're going to get the best pricing, and obviously the loyalty program and all sorts of other things. So.
And I noticed you also have a apparel now, and some very nice looking golf bags on your site you're selling.
Yep.
So is this all part of the whole marketing plan as you go along to expand the business?
Yeah, the focus will always be on golf balls, but we do want to have those, ancillary products that people can be proud to kind of be part of the Team OnCore, and are essentially, they're walking billboards for us too, which is great. I mean, the golf bags are a big sign. They look great. They're durable. So it's, you getting people asking what they're playing because they see the ball, or somebody sees the brand. That's great. We do want to expand our apparel line more down the road. But right now we just launched in December the Avant 55. We made some improvements to the Elixir. We just came out with the yellow options for those, and in April we're going to be launching a green matte finish for both Avant 55 and the Elixir.
I like the color balls because they're easier to find. I find. I don't know. I use an orange Callaway. And it's easier to, at my age, it's easier to find.
Totally.
And I think Bubba Watson agrees because he's using a yellow ball as well now. So,
yeah.
Any plans to get anybody on the tour interested in it, or I know that's what drives the prices up right away when you start getting these guys on the tour. Or gals, but do you have any plans for that, or is that could be way
moment.
Down the road?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like Mr. 59, who is still playing, I'm a senior. He plays it. We've got some other actually Hall of Fame names that are really interested in playing it, not because they need to be paid, but because they really enjoyed the ball.
Right.
We had a web player have his best career year last year, made the U.S. Open with it. But again, our focus is going to be on helping the golfers that actually need a product that performs the best for them to help them get to the next level. That way we can, hopefully have a more affordable relationship should we choose to, do a ball deal or something in the future. But truly, an entire R&D budget would be out the window and tenfold if you went after even one player on the tour. So we kind of are leaving that marketing strategy. I mean, some of the top companies are paying close to 800 players and not putting that money into R&D. Yeah. So our whole thing, again, is let's make quality products, word of mouth, and, the amount of colleges and mini tour guys that are not getting paid that are using this ball. They're all the other guys on the mini tour that then make the web and everything. I mean, they know who we are. They're definitely playing with our ball, and they're telling others, and that's the kind of validation that we enjoy. And again, we didn't win gold for the hot list for no reason. So I think that's a lot more authentic when you can get real golfers that aren't being paid to play a product saying, this is a ball I use because this is going to give me my best chance to win.
Right. And it's gotten excellent reviews. I just watched a review for the Elixir last night. It was Peter Finch Golf on YouTube, and gave it very high marks. Comparing it to his Titleist Pro V1X, I think he was playing. So the ball is getting good reviews all over the place, and Geez, I hope for continued success with this
Appreciate it.
and with the Genius, and you'll have to come back on when the Genius is closer to full-fledged production.
We can do that.
And I'd love to try that ball out.
Yep. Once we're ready to go, you got it.
I want to thank you for coming on today. This was very informative and a lot of fun. And good luck with OnCore Golf. And I'm going south in a couple of weeks. I want to try that ball and see if I can get some and try it out when I'm down there.
You got it. Thanks so much. I appreciate it.
Okay, Bret. Thanks so much
All right.
again. And we'll be back right after this.